Hello, my name is Carolyn Rodriguez from Stanford University. I am here representing the American College of Neuropsychopharmacology, or ACNP. I'm the chair of its Minority Task Force. And the mission and frame of American College of Neuropsychopharmacology is to promote research and education in neuropsychopharmacology. And as part of its educational aim is to try and recruit young scientists to enter careers in neuropsychopharmacology. In past recent years, we've really focused on trying to recruit and retrain individuals who are diverse and from historically disadvantaged backgrounds to participate in ACNP and to join as members. And this year, we're started a new award called the Dolores Shockley Minority Mentoring Award. And we're very fortunate to have Dr. Shockley here to tell us a little bit about her experiences. And this award really honors an individual who has been instrumental and dedicated to influencing and impacting diversity in neuropsychopharmacology. This is the first year of the award. And Dr. Shockley was the first African-American woman to earn her PhD in pharmacology in the whole US. And she earned this degree from the Department of Pharmacology and Pharmaceutical Sciences at Purdue University in 1955. And she's currently the retired head of the Meharry Medical College of Nashville, Tennessee. So Dr. Shockley, thank you so much for being here. Love to ask you some questions. There's so much that you've done. What are you most proud of?
Well, first I would like to thank ACNP for bestowing this honor upon me. In terms of, I think it's just wonderful, and I'm so proud to accept the award in my name. And on a personal note, I would think that the greatest award that I have received in life is to have 4 loving children who call me mom. And I would not be able to attend this meeting if it were not for them. They have traveled with me in my decrepit condition and so that everything went fine. But on a professional note, I'm very proud of something that really has no identification to me as such, but it's something that I am very proud of. And as you know, may know, that in my early career, I was a Fulbright Fellow to the University of Copenhagen in Denmark. And upon my return to Meharry, a gentleman from the Department of State in Washington, D.C. came to Meharry to visit me and wanted to know what could be done to increase the number of minorities applying for international fellowships from the Department of State. And my response to him was that the government needed to institute something similar to the Marshall Plan, which had been in effect after World War II to restore Germany and other European countries. And they should do this in terms of lifting minorities in terms of international travel. He went back to Washington, to the State Department, and was instrumental in getting funding for consortia travel for minority faculty members is summer. And
Amazing.
Nashville was one, and Atlanta was another, and there were 1 or 2 other places. But in Nashville, the schools involved in the 5-member consortium were Meharry, Fisk, Tennessee State University, Vanderbilt University, and Scarrett College. And through that program for a period of 5 years, minority faculty were able to apply to the committees and travel to study abroad for the entire summer for a period of 5 years. And Gil Anderson said that without my talking to him, that it would never have happened.
Wonderful.
So I feel very proud of that.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
That's amazing. So this is another example of the wonderful successes that you've had. I'd love to hear for those of us that experience challenges. What have been some challenges through your career?
Well, as an undergraduate, I studied pharmacy at Xavier University in New Orleans. And I soon found out that I was in a male-dominated profession. There were 3 females in my freshman class, and in terms of pharmacy majors, and roughly 100 males. And this was in 1947, and there were many veterans returning to college, taking advantage of the GI Bill. And these were mature individuals who were very serious and dedicated in their desire to return to college. And whereas we were just fresh out of high school and found that didn't approach it with the same seriousness. So that was a challenge to quickly make that transition from high school to college, and in a male-dominated group. And I found that I was in for male domination in terms of going on to graduate school. There were only 2 females studying pharmacology at Purdue, including me, and all the other graduate students in pharmacology were males. Then after we finished our master's degree, the other female, who happened to be a white young woman, decided that she wasn't going to pursue the PhD at that time. She later went back and completed a PhD in another area of pharmacy, not pharmacology. But that left me as the sole female with the males in that department. But it worked out okay. It was a real challenge because most of those students had some bench experience in research, and whereas I had none. And therefore I was playing catch up initially, because I had come from a small school in Louisiana that did not have research. I was determined to succeed.
Where did that determination come from? I mean, what you speak of is, you have to have a lot of resilience. So where did you find that?
Well, I really got it from my mother, from when I was growing up. She always told me to be the best, do my best. And if I did my best and aimed high, that I would, if I failed, I wouldn't fall in farther than the treetops if I had aimed for the sky.
Oh.
And so
I love that.
I always carried that philosophy with me. Aim for the best, aim high, do your best. And if you fail or fall, you've done your best. You can't do any more than your best. So that's where I got that from.
Wonderful, wonderful phrase to live by. We had a luncheon today, and a lot of the postdocs and students described feelings of imposter syndrome. Did you have those feelings, or if so, what advice would you give to young, folks who are starting out that may feel that way?
What would they have?
Imposter syndrome. So feeling like they they can't do it, or feeling like that maybe they're there, but it's unclear why,
Well,
that kind of uncertainty.
I always would tell young people that set your goal. If you have a goal, then stick to it. Be passionate about your goal. If you can't be passionate about it, that's the wrong goal. First, you have to be passionate about what you're doing. And then, if you are passionate, you have to stick with it. And I would tell them the same Winston Churchill told a graduating class at Oxford University in England, never quit. Never, never quit. Never, never, never quit. And then he sat down. That was his entire speech. So
That's great.
I've never forgotten that, because I think that's good advice. Another thing I tell young people, don't be tempted by immediate gratification. The delayed gratification is nothing to be sneezed at. You know, just because somebody offers you a job at minimum wages and you've been a student getting by on very little and you're tempted to take it, don't give up on your goals. Stick with it. You know, be passionate. Stick with it. Go on and delay gratification. You'll get there. That's what I say to them.
That's wonderful. Well, there's a lot of ACNP members who are mentors, and they are seeking to do their best in terms of mentoring underrepresented, diverse, historically disadvantaged individuals. Do you have any advice for mentors?
I think that mentors should find out which is what I do. I find out really what the individual really wants. If they, like, even today I talked to some young people, and they have to decide on whether, for example, they want an academic career or they want an industrial career. And whichever they want, then make that decision and stick with it. Then go out for the opportunities that are there. If it's academic or if it's industrial, look for the opportunities that are present. Fellowships, postdoctorals, whatever, and then make yourself very prepared. And then help them to get prepared. Help them to seek the opportunities in terms of things that come across your desk, that announcements. I steer many students to things that I read about come to my desk that I see as opportunities for students, you know? And then the student has to realize what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and be realistic in what they're pursuing. And then if they are realistic and pursue them, then don't give up. Just go after it with a vigor and passion.
Well, but that's wonderful, wonderful
That's what I think.
advice. I'm curious, so when the award was announced and when you were going to give the award to our inaugural recipient, Dr. Dubocovich, you had a standing ovation. What was that like?
Oh, I was very much touched by that. I never expected to receive such a warm reception because my accomplishments, I guess for back then, were something, but I just was doing what I wanted to do, what I like to do and what I enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I never was seeking recognition, awards for what I did.
Mm-hmm.
It was just something I like to do.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said, the advice my mother gave me was, do your best.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have nothing to be ashamed of.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always done my best.
I love that. That's wonderful advice. Thank you so much. Those are all the questions that I had. Or is there anything that you would like to add, or anything that we didn't cover on that you would like to share?
I would just like to put a plug in for HBCUs.
Mm-hmm.
I attended an HBCU.
Mm-hmm.
I worked at an HBCU. HBCU is historical black colleges and universities.
Mm-hmm.
And these colleges and universities do a fantastic job of educating minorities.
Mm-hmm.
And many people who don't attend, have never been close to one of these, don't know the hardships that they have to sometimes undergo, and what a remarkable job they do. And I was lucky enough to work on an advisory committee of the NIH. It was called the Minority Biomedical Science Career Development Award. And by order of succession, I became chairman of that award, an advisory committee, and I had the opportunity to educate the non-HBCU members of the committee in terms of the plight of these colleges as we would site visit them. And I was glad that I was able to throw some light on the condition of these colleges in terms of their finances, and yet the tremendous job that they did and are still doing with limited resources. So
You need to support more.
we were able to recommend sometimes funding at a level that the non-HBCU members at first didn't understand. So I feel very happy about that.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations on such a wonderful career, being passionate, doing what you love, sticking with it, aiming high, and for all the work that you've done on behalf of so many of us. Thank you so much.
Thanks to ACNP from me.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Carolyn Rodriguez from Stanford University, and I'm representing the American College of Neuropsychopharmacology, or ACNP, as the chair of the Underrepresented Minority Task Force. ACNP, its role and its mission is to promote research and education in the field of neuropsychopharmacology. It's a professional organization. As part of its educational branch, it promotes young scientists to have careers in neuropsychopharmacology. And this past recent years has been a very concerted effort to increase the numbers of diverse and historically disadvantaged scientists to join American College of Neuropsychopharmacology, participate in those events, and ultimately become members. This year we had the very first Dr. Dolores Shockley Minority Mentoring Award, which was named after Dr. Shockley, who was the first African American woman to earn a PhD in pharmacology in the United States from the Department of Pharmacology and Pharmaceutical Sciences at Purdue University in 1955. We're lucky to have with us Dr. Margarita Dubocovich, who is a SUNY Distinguished Professor. She is the former chair of the Department of Pharmacology and Toxicology. She's the inaugural Senior Associate Dean for Diversity and Inclusion at the Jacob School of Medicine and Biomedical Sciences at the University at Buffalo. We're so lucky to have you here. You've had so many successes throughout your career, and would love to find out a little bit more about what inspired you to be active in diversity issues, and love to hear from you.
Well, thank you for that question, but let me first say thank you for the honor of receiving the Dolores Shockley Minority Mentoring Award. This is a thrill for me, and having Dr. Shockley be present and awarded the award to me is the thrill of my life. Thank you.
That's wonderful.
I just was thinking about what makes me so passionate about forming communities that are diverse and work so hard. And I think that it is in who am I, how I grew up, where did I grow up, what was the community that surrounded me, and what have been my life experiences. As you know, I was born and raised in Argentina. I spent my childhood years and the early, teens years I live in the family farm, and also for time to time in my maternal grandparents' home in a very, very small village in the middle of the Argentinian Pampas. And that our family, our neighbors, and most of the people in that community were immigrants from Europe in general. My family immigrated from Croatia. It was very common to speak two languages at home, to hear different languages in the street or when you visit with neighbors. These were very, very hardworking people that came to Argentina looking for a better future. There was a lot of respect. There was very diverse community of people. And I guess that it has made an impact on me. It's something that I want to be surrounded by people that are very, very diverse. So on top of that, we have a diverse population also in Argentina. So that is perhaps what inspires me to be to try to help people to be better and to succeed. But there is another part of me, is my enthusiasm to provide young people opportunities. I really want them to experience what I experienced growing up and moving from elementary school to high school, from high school to the university, and experience a thrill and being very happy. I think that I worked very, very hard all my career, and I think that I may have been at the right place at the right time to get so many opportunities, but also there is something that you should be able to recognize that these are opportunities and should move on that. That was not easy because along the way I have families and friends and even teachers that would say, why you are going to do that? Why you are going to go to high school? Why you are going to go to the university? This is a long 5 years here, 5 years there. And then it was very disconcerting for me. It was something that caused a lot of pain and made me feel very insecure. But I keep going. I keep working hard and I keep going. So that were really the challenges. But on the other hand, I have been very successful. I think that I have wonderful guidance along my career, and I want to inspire other people. I want them to experience what I had experienced. I just have to tell you that those days there were no mentors. There was no such a thing as a mentor. We didn't call them mentors, but we have them. There was no summer camp or summer school, but I had the opportunity to visit relatives in Buenos Aires that have finished college. So visit universities, I visit their lab where they were working, and that was my summer programs, I guess, that led me to enter a career in science, and then here where I am. So I completed my PhD in Argentina, and then moved with a team to Europe, and for several years I was there.
Amazing. Well, I mean, it speaks to resilience, right? Overcoming people telling you no in these different things. What was it within you that allowed you to keep going?
I don't know, is that resilient? I think that perhaps is the way that I grew up, surrounded by people who really, really were very hard to keep their family going, and very, very hard under conditions that were not optimal sometimes. So I think that that's part of who am I, and I still today, I have an issue, I just fall and stand up and continue going. And sometimes it's hard, but so far, so good.
It's very admirable. And
Thank you.
What advice would you give to a young person coming to ACNP, starting out their research career, when they don't feel so great? What is there anything that advice that you would pass on for those moments, and then just in general, if you have any career advice?
I think that you really need to be passionate about what you do. I think that all of us have a profession or something that we like to do and we can do very, very well, but we have to find that something. And there are a lot of challenges, but I think that you have to follow your instinct and what you want to do, and there will be times where it's very difficult to move forward. But these days, it's very important to have the right advice, the right mentors, and to seek the right advice, to move forward. Being underrepresented in science these days, or being underrepresented in neuropsychopharmacology, is a very difficult thing. But what I would suggest that we senior scientists and mentors in general should make sure that they build inclusive communities in which they embrace everyone. And it is very difficult to experience being the only one of one particular culture or race or ethnicity in a group. So it is important to have a critical mass of individuals so you don't feel isolated. And one of our successes in mentoring individuals at different levels, summer students, graduate students, and more recently, postdoctoral fellows and junior faculty, is to build communities where you have a goal and everyone in that community can contribute something to solve problems that are complex, to provide a cultural, people can learn about their own cultures, their own way of lives, their own research. And it's very, very important to have different intellectual backgrounds when you teach students, when you provide instruction. It's very, very healthy and it's very, very positive. But integrating different groups of people with different intellectual and cultural backgrounds is very, very positive in education these days.
And for those individuals that may not have the benefit of these sort of diverse environments, would you recommend they seek out these communities?
I think that what I would suggest is that they find ways to bring to their teams, their groups, their institutions, their graduate programs, to bring students that are really talented but didn't have the opportunity to attend a major university and do research or go and take the latest courses in biomedical informatics and things like that. But there are students that are talented, that are trying to improve themselves at all the time, And I would suggest that they were very hard to change the ways that we admit graduate students and medical students into their classes, that they use a holistic approach. And they don't base everything on metrics, because that's the issue. You know, some students are extremely talented, although they may not have the grades that are required to get in, but they're as talented as the others. And that's something that we have experienced and we have practiced for a long time, and it has worked very, very well. And provide this continuous advice, make sure that you create a community that is there for a long time, that people recognize that, and there is space for the students to come back to you and to seek for advice. It's very common for the students that are in our summer programs to come back and I said, oh, I just miss getting into medical school, what I can do now. And we have had some great successes of students that had really a very low chance to get into medical school, and by suggesting go and do a post-bac, take this course and the other, are now in medical school, and that's wonderful.
Amazing. What an amazing success.
Yes, yes.
On the flip side, for mentors here at ACNP that want to create these kind of diverse environments, sometimes it can be difficult to find. What are advice or suggestions that you would have for mentors to create these kind of diverse workforce?
I think that I think that my general thing, you know, when I mentor something, when I talk to somebody, I don't make difference, you know. Just I am very honest, I'm very straightforward. I provide the same advice to everyone. I tend to have this group of students and communities, as I said before, in which we admit everyone, regardless of their grades, regardless of their culture, their ethnicity, or whatever. And by doing that, so I would suggest to the mentors that don't treat people differently because they are from a diverse ethnic background or racial background, and that they try very hard at their institutions, their lab, to bring diversity and inclusion at the center of their missions of the institution. So like ACNP now is trying to bring the issue of diversity at the center of the mission of the ACNP, and that will work. Diversity and inclusion has been there for a long time, but it has always been somehow in the periphery. So, and then more institutions are bringing it to the heart of the institution, and I think that that's what we all should do.
Wonderful. Eloquently put. Is there anything that you would want to add that we maybe haven't covered that you think would be important for people to know?
I just want to say that I am really very grateful, and I am very rewarded by the fact that ACNP and the college in general is making an effort to strive towards excellence by inclusion and increasing diversity at all levels in their membership. I think that this is very positive because it will help us, all of us, to get better research results, to solve complex problems, and to get into a better place in actually discovering new cures for brain diseases and conditions.
Wonderful. That's what it's all about, right?
Yes, correct. Correct.
Wonderful.
Correct.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Carolyn.